Welcome to Be Better Thursdays, a video every Thursday to inspire you to be the highest version of yourself with strong vida. Be better every day. Hi everyone, welcome to Be Better Thursday. I'm really happy to have you here like always. And I want to talk to you about last week's video. Just to recap, we're doing a relationship series. Relationships are a place to grow. And last week we talked about how to use our differences to elevate ourselves within a relationship. And it's a really fun subject. I really like the subject because it's fascinating to me how we're so different and how we just by default always think everybody should just be the same like us. It's so obvious, right? And so how am I practicing this? I want to share that with you. This is what I do every video. I talked about how I'm practicing last video, and then I talked about this video. And so this is it's a subject that I practice a lot, and I have had a lot of great benefits out of this practice. And I mainly practice this in my romantic relationship with my husband. I actually should practice this a lot more with my family and friends, but I don't do it just yet so much. I think I'm still learning a lot about them. And I'm also still learning how to identify certain quality in people's character. And so because I spend most of my time with my husband, it's easier to practice it with him. And so one of the things I'm doing I do about 3 things that I practice all the time. So one of the things that I do a lot is to respect more his boxes. I like to call it his box. And actually we make a lot of jokes about this. It's really funny. But I really truly, it does help. It sounds funny, but it does help. And when I have to communicate something, or when I'm just telling a story, or when I'm just asking a question, I am more aware of if there's a capacity for him to open that box or my box in that moment, meaning am I interrupting? Am I going into a section that I'm not allowed in that moment? And this is funny. I've met a lot of people that are just not willing to do this. But the reason why this is, besides the fact that, us as a couple mature and that you respect somebody else's space in the way they like to be treated, I think this is really helpful, especially if you're not attached to anything different. I really don't care, and I really wish I knew this long time before now. But also, I've noticed how much more receptive he is when I actually do it in the times where my intuition tells me, okay, this is my box, this is the best time to say this. And it sounds like something logical that, that you have to be thinking about the things, but you really don't. And there's a moment where you're more like flowing with your intuition and you're just respecting that person the way they are. It really is like, if you want to try to connect with a dog, you're not going to start, doing and some people think it's all in your mind and you have to be thinking and how boring and you don't want to do that. But I love to do that, and it really flows. I use my intuition, and sometimes I fail. It's not like I get it always perfect, but as I practice this, then I notice a better reward. So I like that. The other thing that I practice a lot with him is respecting the conversations. As you know, we're talking about the last video. Woman, in my case, I have a lot of that. As you know, my videos cannot be short. I like talking. I like sharing stories, and especially I like talking about subjects that he doesn't necessarily enjoy or he's not necessarily interested. He might listen to me because he loves me, but that doesn't necessarily mean this is a subject he would want to talk all day like I would. And so being aware of that, I think it's important. If you talk somebody's ear off, especially if you talk your loved one's ear off, and he is a man. He has a lot of masculine energy in that sense, where like his words are definitely reduced. And so I am more aware as to what time of the day it is, how much have we talked, what subject I'm talking about. And if I really want to have this conversation with somebody, it could be with somebody else. It really depends on what I'm doing and what I'm not doing. So those two things are something that I practice a lot. And I practice more of them, but those are the ones that I recall the most and that I practice all the time. All the time. Today, yesterday, all the time. But let's talk about our subject for today. And our subject for today is acknowledging and being grateful could be the immune system pill that you need for your relationship. And this is so truth. Why do I call it immune system boost? I think I like calling it that because it's not something you use to resolve a conflict. It's not something you use when somebody triggers something. It's not a tool per se. It's just like it's like a little infusions of love that you give to your relationship, especially if you are in a good place with your relationship. If you're in survival mode with relationships or with a specific relationship, it's really hard to do this. There are relationships I have that I am still building. It's not because they're young relationships or they're short or anything. You know, I've gone through phases with relationships. Like I've gone through phases with a relationship with my mom, which I share with you a lot. That sometimes is, you know, it's been years when it's been in its best, and then there are years where like I'm back to survival mode because things change and my perception changes and her perception changes. So being aware of where you at in that relationship, and my experience with this tells me that I'm more prone to acknowledge and be grateful naturally when the relationship is not in survival mode. But my invitation to you with this video is to reinforce that muscle of consciousness and start practicing it even if you're not naturally prone to it. Because what this does, it's just infuse it. It really is like an injection to your relationship and to you to bring more awareness into what is amazing about it. And we tend to forget it because our natural human perception is to always pass by really quick the good things and really stay longer in the bad things because we complain about it, because we want to fix them, because we want to solve them. And the good things are like, oh yeah, he's so good about that. She's so great about that. I love that about, and then let's spend all the rest of the night or all the rest of the hour we have together talking about the bad things, right? This is our default mode. But if we practice and we really get into the habit from love to acknowledge the other person for what they are amazing at and to be grateful about what we have with this other person, again, whether this is your job, your boss, your mom, your daughter, your son, your friend, your husband, your boyfriend, anybody, even animals. It's really important to just acknowledge. People want to be acknowledged. We all want to be loved. And one of the ways to express our love to somebody else is to acknowledge them. And this is something we do all the time. Every second that you experience something beautiful about that relationship, that person expresses in that unique way. Nobody else is going to do that for you the way that person does it or that person is. Then take the time to acknowledge it out loud. You might feel a little bit silly at the beginning if this is not something you do a lot, or if you're a person that's more pessimist or realistic. It might sound weird through you, but start little by little, just by saying little things. It could be something they do, or it could be something they are. So if somebody is really generous, or if somebody really took the time to do something, just acknowledge it out loud. Tell them, looking at their eyes, and be like, wow, I really appreciate you woke up early today and got here on time. I really love when you do that. It really shows respect for what I do, and it makes me so happy to see your face, and I look forward to that all day. That is an amazing acknowledgement. If that's too much, some relationships are in such a survival mode that it's really even hard to find something to acknowledge. I've been in that position where I'm like, I don't have anything to acknowledge. If I acknowledge something, I'm gonna feel that I'm just lying. But back to the subject of duality, if that's the case, it means you've been for too long in the night part of duality. So acknowledging is a great way to get out of it. So every relationship and everybody and every entity has a good side and a bad side. So just if you look at it, if you're looking for it, you're going to find the good parts of it. And once you find one, just a tiny bit one, it could even be as simple as a smile. Somebody smiled to you when they never did. Or somebody, anything. You can write a note if you have a hard time saying it. And talking about notes, I have a little surprise for you. And that's not a surprise, it's an idea. But I wanted to show you. This idea came from Elizabeth Gilbert. She shared the happiness, I don't know how she calls it. I think she calls it the happiness bucket or something like that. So she writes, it's sort of like whenever you go through a happy time in your life, or a joyful time, or a time where you have had courage to do something, you write it down on a little piece of paper and you put it in your bucket. And through that, I think through some comments of what she posted and some conversations again, I had the idea of doing the same thing, but doing acknowledgements for my husband. And I honestly say this out loud all the time. I have no problem saying things out loud. I'm, again, talkative. But this is great because you write it down, and things that happened 3 years ago, 2 years ago, chances are you're not going to remember. Your memory really wants to be attached to the bad things a lot of the times, and the good things too, but you don't remember so many details about the good things. It's just a default thing. And so this is great because you write it down, and let's say you write down, this day you came in, you said this, I love that you did that and this and that, and you put it in this bucket. It could be a bigger one. And then you fill the bucket up, and then any day that you feel in survivor mode, that you don't know, you can't see the good in that person, or any day that you've been for too long in the night part of duality and you really want to get out of there, you open it up and read as much as you need. And that will just bring you back to, it will shift your focus, and it will really help you see what's already there, but that you can't see through your ego eyes. So I hope that helps a lot. And then gratefulness is pretty much the same thing. It's just to be thankful for what is. It's not only for what feels good and for the things that you like about that relationship, but to feel thankful for everything that relationship brings into your mind, into your life. Because your mind cannot really grasp the biggest picture ever. And so to understand that there is a divine order and that there is a big picture that's all working for your own good, it's where thankfulness really comes from. It doesn't come from just being grateful for one little thing here, one little thing there, but just to have the precious experience in that you're having right now through that unique presence of the other person. And so I assure you that infusing gratefulness and acknowledgement here and there within your relationship, it's definitely a boost, and it's going to boost up when you need it. It's sort of like going to the gym and, practicing that muscle. It's the same thing as filling up your soul. And then when you really need to have that strength, when you really need to have your soul full and expressed, that will be there as a reserve for you. So your immune system is going to be ready for anything. So I hope that helps. I hope you liked it, and I'll see you next week. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching our episode of Be Better Thursdays. If you would like more inspiration plus exclusive invitations and free resources to become better every day, please find the email list link in the description below this video. And if you like this video, please share it with your friends, subscribe to our channel, or just like it. See you soon, and remember to be better every day.